my friends, welcome to my channel and to my garden, Farming on the Rocks. My name is Marie and I am from Kingston, Jamaica, and this is my container garden that I'm sitting next to. And closest to me here is my red amaranth or Callaloo, red Callaloo, and we'll be talking a little bit about it today and why I love it so much. So stick around just a little bit and let me just share a little about my favorite plant growing in my garden. Alright. Now I have this plant growing several locations in my garden, not only because I love it, but because it adds a pop of pretty color to the garden. It's pretty to look at. But where did this plant originate, and who gave us the opportunity to enjoy this delicious and nutritious, extremely nutritious vegetable? Its name is actually Amaranthus quentus, and this plant originated in Central America. It originated in Mexico and is said to be a native plant to Peru. Interesting. This plant was cultivated at first for its seeds. It's used as cereal, as a matter of fact, and that's due to how rich it is. So it was used for its seed for breakfast in the same way we use cereal today. And this was a major food source for the Aztecs back in those days, and it's said to be around for about 6,000 to 8,000 years ago. It's a long time ago that this thing has been around, and I have discovered it 2 years now. Can you believe it? I've been on earth for so long, and it's 2 years that I bumped into this plant on Instagram and decided I needed to try it. We were a bit hesitant at first, but we decided nonetheless that we're going to try this because it looks pretty. And as I mentioned, pretty, this plant is not only used for food, it's also an ornamental plant, so it's used for beautification as well. Now, why amaranth, you might ask? Such a funny name. Why was it called amaranth? It's actually from a Greek word, amaranthus, and it means it's one that doesn't wither or fade easily, and that's referring to the seeds, really, the flower that it produces. Even after harvesting it, it will remain vibrant and red for many days. So that's where the name comes from. Now, in some plants, or most plants, only one part or maybe two at most that can be eaten. Say for the corn, only the fruit of the corn we eat. We're not sure if anything else can be eaten. But for the amaranth, we can enjoy the leaves, the stems, and the seeds. All of this plant is edible. So if you know when to harvest it, all of the plant can be eaten. Now, I am located in Jamaica, which is in the West Indies, and here we know this plant as Callaloo, but it's also known elsewhere as a number of other names. For example, in India, it's called the Charlie leaves. Charlie leaves in India, and in Africa it is known as the cowpea leaves, and so many other names exist for this one plant, rightfully so, because it's such a beautiful, nutritious, very, very highly nutritious plant. So it has all right to have as many names as it wants. As I said earlier, this plant here, can you see how pretty it is? This is not only used for food. I would eat this every day for breakfast, but it's not only used for food. A lot of persons don't even know that it can be eaten. It's in their garden as decoration. And in some countries like India, it's used for its color, for dyes. Yes, it's also used to make beautiful red dye. It's so pretty to look at. Now, Callaloo, red Callaloo in particular, it has far superior nutrients value compared to, say, the green Callaloo or maybe the pak choy in the the garden. It has carotene, it has iron, it has calcium, protein, as I mentioned, protein. In plants, this green, it is actually a green leafy vegetable that appears to be red. So on top of it, it's green, and then the red pigmentation is at the bottom of the leaf. So it's the red at the bottom that shines through, but if you look closely on the leaves, they're green. So it's considered a green leafy vegetable. It produces one of the highest amount of protein as a plant. Usually I get that amount of protein from grains and nuts and so forth. The amount of protein in this plant is extremely high, so hence it is superior to a lot of other green leafy vegetables. Right, it has vitamin C. Yeah, so it's highly nutritious. And so it's one of my favorite. But it also tastes good. It tastes similar to the green one that I have over here, but it has its own. It's a little tangy. It is unique in taste, even though it is quite similar to its green cousin over there. Now you can eat the red callaloo, amaranth, raw or cooked. I would recommend, whether you're eating it raw or cooked, that you eat it while it's young and tender, because it can become tough, even tougher than the green one. So if you're going to eat it in a salad or a stir fry, whichever way, eat it while it is tender. Don't wait until it's old. If it starts to flower, do not eat the stems. You might be able to take the leaves off, chop them finely, and stir fry them, but the stems will be too tough unless you don't mind the texture of it being woody. It will get woody if you allow the plant to stay too long. So once it starts to flower, it's an indication that it has passed. You might want to enjoy the beauty of the flower, or you can harvest the seeds and have them. They can be eaten in a similar way to quinoa. I've never eaten it, but they can be eaten. And the seeds, they have two varieties. It can be white or black. The ones I have, they are black. But there is also a white variety that you can have, like a cereal, similar to a cereal, but it's not a cereal. It is a seed and not a grain. Now, back in the days, in about the 16th century, the callaloo, this red callaloo, in Mexico in particular, it was not only used for their food. This was a staple for the Aztecs back then, but not only was it a staple on their tables, it was also used in religious practices. It was said that the seeds were harvested and they were combined with honey, used to make special little deities or little gods that they would worship, and after worshiping those little gods, they would break them in small pieces and the members would enjoy them. So they'd eat them like little candies after worshiping them, like little gods. I cannot believe this plant has been around for that long. I still cannot believe that it took me so long to discover it, because initially I thought this was something that was made in the lab or something, some color add to the green one and to make it so pretty, but it actually was not. Now we have to consider ourselves very lucky to be able to enjoy this plant right here that I'm sitting beside, because it did not come easy. Back in the 16th century, when the Aztecs, they used it for worship, the Spanish, it was the Spanish who they tried to force Christianity on those persons who were worshipping their little callaloo gods. And in those times, they actually burned all of their amaranth in an effort to get them to stop worshipping those deities. They burnt everything, and for those who cultivated it and were found out, they were punished severely. So all of their crops were destroyed, and what happened is the seeds for this plant is so resilient, they happened to make it through. So years after the oppression, the dictation from the Spanish, these seeds started to sprout, and for some by some miracle it got to America, and the rest was actually history after there. So based on what I've learned, it was distributed from America when it got there. So this plant went through trials and tribulation because of some other person's belief. Yeah, back in the 16th century. Red amaranth is extremely easy to cultivate. Extremely easy. It is considered parasitic or invasive in some countries. They refer to it as a weed because of how easily the seeds germinate. It doesn't matter how long, you may have them for years, 5-10 years, and once it hits soil and moisture, they will germinate. I took soil from my main garden area to put in this tire right here, and this seed, I don't know how long it was in the soil, and it grew. Look how beautiful it is. And I have the amaranth all over the garden, not because I planted all of them, but because the seeds, they spread so easily. Right here I had a huge plant, and somehow the seeds blew into this container, so this was spread by the wind. And now look, there are 1, 2, 3 plants coming in there, and I'm sure more will sprout. So yes, I would encourage you to plant 1 or 2 of these in your garden. Not only is it pretty, but it's very nutritious for you. Okay, thank you so much for joining me in the garden today. I hope you enjoyed this video. To my subscribers, new and old, thank you so much for being there for me and for supporting this channel. I appreciate you. To my viewers, I appreciate you all. If you've not already subscribed, please go ahead and press that subscribe button, also the notification bell, so you'll be notified once I post another video. Also remember to like, leave a comment, and share with your friends, because if you like my videos, chances are they will like it too. Alright, bye bye.